Commitment is what transforms a promise into reality. Hello everyone, this is me again, Cute Little Panda. I'm going to share you another story, which is about the boy Clark and the girl Vanessa. Probably too late for this not to get buried, but I have a story about this. Clark and Vanessa met in college and were instant best friends. Clark was 20, Vanessa was 18. They spent all their time together and were briefly lovers, but they never formally dated because both of them were very much into being wild and free and enjoying their youth. They dated other people on and off, but they talked about it and agreed that a committed relationship between the two of them would be an all or nothing kind of thing. Since neither of them wanted to give up their hedonistic, promiscuous, irresponsible lifestyle, they made a point of not committing to a relationship. A few years went by that way, and they were very happy, right up until Vanessa's sisters died. It was a car accident. They were 16 and 18, and both were killed in the crash, dead on arrival at the hospital. Clark was utterly completely devastated. It still hurts him to remember it even now. Her father, though, was even more devastated, to the point where he was legitimately willing to let himself starve to death rather than to try to go on living. She moved home out of state to take care of her father. She cut ties with everyone for a while, even Clark. Clark didn't see her again for 2 years. She was so different after that. Before the accident, she'd always been the most joyful, exuberant, positive person he'd ever met. After she came back, she was quieter, sadder, maybe wiser. Clark wanted to be there for her, more than that he'd ever wanted anything in the world. Not being able to fix things for her, not being able to make it better, that hurt more than anything he could ever remember. He guesses that when she realized how in love with her he was, he told her that he loved her, that he wanted to be there with her, and she told him that she couldn't handle the idea of any kind of emotional connection for a while. Maybe a few years, she said, or maybe never. Maybe she'd never be able to open up emotionally again. She said she needed space from him, particularly from him. She said she needed to figure out what it meant to be alive in the world where her sisters were gone. She asked him to give her time, and he told her that he'd give her anything she wanted. She told him that she'd never been happier than she was when they were together. He told her the same. He told her that he understood, and that's when they made their pact. He was 25 then, and she was 23. They agreed. If she turned 30 and he turned 32, and if she had learned to heal, and if she hadn't fallen in love with someone else, and if he hadn't fallen in love with someone else too. Then they'd get married. So that's how they parted ways. She moved to Milan to be alone, and Clark moved to Germany to get as far away from her as he could. They didn't keep in touch at first, but over the next few years, they built up a correspondence. They wrote letters because they both like writing letters. They emailed now and then. Sometimes they'd mail each other books that they thought the other would like. Years went on, and they became closer and closer. When he turned 30, he half-jokingly brought up their marriage pact. He told her that he hadn't ever fallen for anyone else, and she replied that she was still very serious about their agreement, and that she'd never fallen in love with anyone else either. He asked her if she thought she had begun to heal, and she said she had. As much as a person could ever heal from something like that. A year later, she told him she'd like them to meet and spend some time together to see if the spark was still there. It was. She was living in California at that time, and he found a job there. He'd always wanted to live in California anyway. He proposed to her 6 months later, and she smiled and told him, no fair, that he had to wait another few months when she'd be turning 30. He thought it was silly, but at the point things were going so well that a few months didn't seem like they could matter at all. Vanessa died. That's how the story ends. She was hit by the drunk driver and spent 2 days in the ICU before her body gave out. Clark went to her funeral. He spoke to her father, but he barely remembered what they said. He was never spoken to him since. He doesn't have the willpower to make himself find out how he's doing. That will be many years he's in therapy and trying to learn how to have feelings again, other than blank, mindless, miserable rage. He often wondered if this is what I felt like to her. She made progress. She learned to feel again. That thought is what keeps him going. She did it. She'd want him to do it. Please do subscribe, like, and share my channel. Give me your feedback in comment section. Mention your country, which part of the world you are watching my videos. I will try to make more stories for you. Don't forget to press the bell icon to get the notification.